All right, all right. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We've got ourselves a fantastic day of both NBA hoops. We've got some MLB as well, but today we're going to focus on tonight's two-game NBA slate. We've got the Atlanta Hawks traveling down to Miami, taking on the Miami Heat. And then we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves traveling out to LA to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. So thank you so much for joining me. My name is CJ Curry. This is the CJ Curry Show. It's presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, making daily fantasy simple. All you got to do, pick your favorite players from your favorite sports, decide whether or not they're going to go for more or less, select 2, 3, 4, 5, or even up to 6 of your favorite picks and win up to 25 times your money. And right now, it's Taco Tuesday, and they're doing a 100% instant deposit match when you use code Curry and make your very first deposit on PrizePicks. I've left a link down in the description of today's video for you to get started on PrizePicks if you don't already play there yet. Thank you so much to everybody who's joining me in the chat. I see a lot of you are riding the Miami Heat bandwagon tonight. You think the Miami Heat are going to beat the Atlanta Hawks? Is that what you think? Oh, really? Okay. Well, I kind of have to agree with you. I think Miami's going to beat Atlanta tonight. Let's run through the chat real quick. We got Roswell in the building. He says, let's get that bag. Couldn't agree more. Great day to get the bag. Great day to make some money here, especially with tacos lining up. We'll talk about the first taco, which just hit the PrizePicks board, and it comes out of this Atlanta-Miami game. So we'll discuss that one in just a moment. Ryan's in the building. Shout out to you. Britton's here. Top of the morning to you as well, Britton, or afternoon. It might be afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. Maybe you're catching us on the replay. I mean, shout out to everybody who watches those replays as well. Hashtag replay gang. I see you guys in the comments section, those of you who are catching the replay. Kaiser's in the building. Last in Limbo's here. We got Christian here. Patrick, shout out to you. Frank Diddy says he's hungry. Couldn't agree more, man. We're going to feast tonight. Jermaine's in the building. Everyday Fantasy, aka my man Don P. If you don't know, now you know. Don P, one of our Patreon Discord members. Shout out to Don P in the building as usual. Michael Johnson's in the chat as well. He says, big day today. Let's get it, fam. For those not in the Patreon and in the Discord, get in there. The playoffs are going to be fire, hot fire, en fuego. Flames. I like that. I like that a lot. Who else we got in here? Jide's here. He says, what's up? Shout out to you. Dave Gutierrez. Shout out to you for being here as well. Wesley Winston, a.k.a. my man Dub. Those of you who are in Discord, that's Dub, my man Wesley Winston. Andy Lopez is here. Long time no see. Good to see. Yeah, I'm still thriving. Get back in the Patreon, Mr. Lopez. We miss you. Roy's here. Norman's here. Music Moth Entertainment's here. Yo. Tyrone's in the building. Golly, we got everybody here, man. 78 of you watching. I should see at least 78 likes. Slap the like button. Let's get started. Starting things off here by talking about today's giveaway. Yes, that's right. I do giveaways. Every time I go live, my friends, I'm giving away a risk-free 2-pick power play on PrizePicks. You get both of these picks right. You get $100 added to your PrizePicks account. All you have to do to get entered in to win, all you have to do to get your hands on one of these risk-free 2-pick power plays, there's 3 simple steps. A, subscribe. You should already be subscribed. Come on. Who are we kidding here? A, subscribe. B, click the like button. And C, after I end today's show, the replay gets posted to YouTube. You go to the comment section of today's replay. You comment your favorite pick, prop, play of the day. Or maybe you're just wanting to say, CJ, you're looking very handsome lately. What's your skincare routine? I don't care what you leave in the comments, but maybe if you leave your favorite pick, prop, or play of the day, somebody else will see that. They'll tail, and maybe they win a little bit extra money because you put them on a winning pick. I'm just saying. That's what we're all about here, trying to help each other win. So anyway, we got 34 comments from our last live show. So all we have to do now, hit the start button. It's going to randomly select one of you fine folks who left a comment from that video. So let's go ahead and get it going. Congratulations ahead of time to whoever it ends up picking. In this case, it is Wesley Ashby. Wesley Ashby says, let's go Flex Friday. That was the comment that he left on Friday, which was the last time we went live here. So shout out to Wesley Ashby. Wesley, shoot me a DM. You can either reach me on Twitter at Curry the Creator, or you can jump down into our Discord. Links to both down in the description of today's video, and links to everything else that I got going on down there as well. Patreon, the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, props.cash, it's all down there. All right, everything that I got going on down in the description of today's video. But Wesley, shoot me that DM. We're going to add that 2-pick power play to your account. You get both picks right. You will be $100 richer than you are right now, okay? Appreciate you, Wesley, for tuning in. Also appreciate the new subscribers. Peyton Bunn just subscribed to the channel. Lowenberg29, the new subscriber. All right, I appreciate you new subscribers. All right, let's talk about this first taco. Like I mentioned, it is Taco Tuesday. It is a great day to get full on some PrizePicks tacos. The first taco of the day is Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat swingman, right? His prop for points was 27.5. It is currently 23.5 for the next few hours. What are we thinking about Jimmy Butler today? I made him my thumbnail player of the day because I've got high hopes for Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Buckets is going to play fantastic basketball today. But yes, he is the first taco of the day, so he's at 27.5 down to 23.5. 4-point discount on Jimmy Butler. You guys who are watching here live, what are we thinking about Jimmy Butler? We liking this more? Do we take the less on the original line of 27.5? Maybe you hedge your bets. Maybe you take the over on the taco at 23.5 and the under on the original point line at 27.5. Let's look into this one real quick. All right, we're going to go over to props.cash real quick. We're going to pull up Jimmy Butler. Props.cash, $19.99 a month, super cheap. It's the easiest way to do player prop research. If you're the type of person who likes to roll up their sleeves, get into the details, right? Get into the dirt of the player props, digging through stats and things like that, game logs. It's all right here on props.cash. So let's get signed in. And we're going to take a look at the success rate this season that Jimmy Butler has had, both at 27.5 and his discounted line of 23.5. We want to know if the chances of Jimmy Butler going over 23.5 points are high. Maybe they're not, but we're going to look at it together, all right? His line's at 27.5. Let's start with the original line first, since it's already pulled up here using props.cash. 27.5 points. He's done this in 14 out of 64 games. That's just a 22% hit rate. That's not very good. So maybe there is some validity. Maybe there is a way where you take the over on the taco and the under on the original line of 27.5. But yeah, it is playoff Jimmy. Maybe playoff Jimmy's a little different than the regular season Jimmy, but you can kind of see here 14 for 64 is just a 22% hit rate. That's not sexy. That's not great. Let's take a look at the splits here. We could look at his home splits versus the away splits. Maybe he's a better scorer when he plays in Miami versus when he plays on the road. That could be a thing. Let's go ahead and do that now. So 22.9 points per game this season, 24.2 points per game when he plays at home. So that would indicate that he is a better scorer when he plays in Miami versus playing away from Miami. As far as his away points per game average goes, 21.6 points per game when he plays on the road. So that's a pretty significant difference there. 21.6 versus 24.2, almost 3 whole points more on a point per game basis when he plays at home. Now, another thing that we could take a look at here is Jimmy Butler's previous matchups against the Atlanta Hawks. He's faced the Hawks 3 times this season. He is 1 for 3 at 27.5 points. 1 for 3 at 27.5 points. 34 points back in January on the 16th at Atlanta. That was a road game. The 2 home games, just 15 and 26 points respectively. How are we feeling about this? Listen, these tacos are not meant to be free squares. I want to remind everyone, tacos are not free. They're not free. Yes, they're a pretty steep discount. Yes, we welcome discounted player projections, but in this case, they are not free, all right? Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. There's still a chance Jimmy Butler could come out here and have 15 points like he did against the Hawks on March 4th. I'm just saying, all right? Quell your expectations just a little bit. Temper your expectations slightly, all right? Anyway, that's what you have to look forward to there. Jimmy Butler, 1 for 3 at 27.5 points. So maybe you take the under at 27.5. But what happens when he's at 23.5 points? Let's take a look at that. So we talked about 27.5 points, 14 out of 64, 22% hit rate. When we bump him all the way down to 23.5 points, it perks up a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. 32 for 64, that's a 50% hit rate. Again, This is by no means meant to be a free square. We've seen tacos, though, in the past when we get the taco discount, the taco rate, 70% hit rate, sometimes 80%. This is not one of those tacos that's hitting at a 70, 80% hit rate. This is still a 50% hit rate. Now, I will give you this. Jimmy Butler over the last 15 or so games has definitely stepped up the scoring. Let's look at the last 30 games real quick. At 23.5 points, 18 for 30, 60% hit rate over his last 30 games. Taking a closer look here, he's hit in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of his last 14. You mathematicians out there, let me know what that hit rate is. 11 out of his last 14 games overall. All right, we could also take a look at the last several home games at 23.5 points. He's 17 of his last 30 playing at home in front of the Miami Heat fans. He's also 6 of his last 8, 7 of his last 9. I'm sorry, 7 of his last 10, I should say, at home. 7 for his last 10 at home at 23.5. So 70% hit rate over his last 10 home games. Not too terrible. Again, not free. Not free. Want to throw it out there. This is not free. Not a free square. Not meant to be a free square, but it is a welcomed discount. So last but not least, let's go look at some projections here on Jimmy Butler. Let's take a look. You know, maybe he's projecting well. Okay, first projection for Jimmy Butler, guys, 30.6 projected points. Now, projections aren't always right either. Just like the tacos aren't a free square, the projections are not always right either. In fact, this is basically just a forecast, so to speak. Like when your local weatherman jumps on the news and he says, there's a 40% projection of rain coming. Well, that's kind of what we're looking at here, but with player props. But the first projection is a very solid one. Jimmy Butler at 30.6 projected points. That's looking pretty sweet. Let's get you another projection on his points here. We're going to go to RotoWire for this one. 27.5 is the line. The projection's 23.7. Ouch. All right. That's a pretty big difference between two different projection models, right? One has them going way over. One has them going way under at 23.7 points. The taco still looks like a good play, though, at 23.5, based on both of these projections. Let's go to a third projection. I just want to see it. I just need to see a third model. I want to know, what this third model's looking like here. We got Jimmy Butler at 27.5 projected points. All right. So 3 different models, 3 different projections. Now you kind of have a range of potential outcomes for Jimmy Butler, right? As low as 23.7, as high as 30.6, and then we had one right in between at 27.5. So again, I'm going to ask you, now that you have a little bit more information, are we taking the over on the Jimmy Butler taco? That's the first question. Let me know in the chat. And then the second question is, are we taking the under on his original line at 27.5 points? Is that the move today? Do we take the over on the taco, hedge our bets, and take the under on the original line? That could be a great move. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there. It's worked in the past, potentially could work tonight as well. But I just wanted to shine a little bit more light on this Jimmy Butler taco. Like I said, 27.5 was the original line. He's discounted down to 23.5. That is a 4-point discount. Guys, let me know what you want to do. Happy to hear your thoughts on this in the live chat. Maybe you're catching this on the replay. If you catch this on the replay and you watch it a little later, guys, let me know what you ended up doing with the Jimmy Butler taco. Did you take the over on the taco, the under on the original line? Did you only take the over on the taco? Or did you only take the under on the original line? Let me know. I like to take the temperature of the room and see what you guys are liking. All right. But that's the information on the taco, guys. I'm going to go ahead and take over on Jimmy Butler's 23.5 points. Maybe I go later on in the day and I click the under on the 27.5 original line. But so far, I think we have to take the taco at 23.5. The discount's just too good. He is projected for 23.7 or more points on 3 different models. So we're 3 for 3 as far as projections go. So, I mean, you kind of just take it and you hope for the best, right? There's only so much we can control. Mathematically speaking, the odds are in our favor for Jimmy Butler for at least 24 points tonight, at least 24. So there we go. You ain't got to force it. You're right, Norman. Don't force anything. That's for sure. All right, let's go over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. I'm going to refresh this puppy. The Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, my friends, has really changed the way that I play on PrizePicks. Fantastic tool here. This tool basically allows you to get in on the value before the value slips away. You know that PrizePicks bump stuff up, they bump stuff down. The Optimizer allows you to get in on your favorite picks before the lines move, before they get bumped up or down. So if you want to get the value, get it in early, this is the tool that helps you do that. A lot of people are using this tool and they get in before the lines change. So if you want to use it, code Curry down in the description of today's video. You can go down there and you can click that and you can get started with the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. But let's look through some of these plays real quick, because we need something to go along with this taco, right? This Jimmy Butler 23.5 point taco. We need something, a side item, so to speak. Nobody just goes and gets the taco. We need some salsa, some queso. We need something to go on the side, some tortilla chips, right? We can't have just a taco. Now, I will show you guys and point out to you guys that a lot of these lines have already been bumped up or bumped down, like Kevin Love's rebounds at 5. Austin Reeves assists at 4. You got Brandon Ingram at 7. DeAndre Hunter's rebounds at 4. Let's look for some picks that have not been bumped yet, like Nikola Vucevic, maybe 2.5 assists, 53.2% chance that he goes over 2.5 times, according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. No, he doesn't play tonight, but that's okay. Maybe we can get it in early before it gets bumped up to 3 tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just saying. He is up on the PrizePicks board, though, at 2.5 times. Let's take a look at Vooch. Maybe we got some projections. See if we can pull up some projections for Vucevic. Let's see here. Nothing on that one. There we go. Here's a projection for Nikola Vucevic at 2.5 assists, projected for 3, according to RotoWire. All right, so that one's looking good. What about, let's see, do I have anything for on number fire, perhaps? Doesn't look like it. But the one projection that we do have has Vucevic for over 3 assists. So that is a plus EV play. It is projecting well on the one site that we're able to reference. So if you wanted to add Vucevic in today, maybe you're the type of person that likes to wait. But for me, I mean, we could go ahead and get this in today before it gets bumped up to 3. Maybe you only want to play props from today's games, but Vucevic over 2.5 assists looks like a fine first option. Maybe you pair that with the Jimmy Butler taco. Projects well, plus EV, and that's all you can really ask for, guys. Mathematically speaking, we've got a pretty good chance here that he has at least 3 dimes. At least 3. So that could be a fine play. What about some other options? Let's go through the list here. We've got some other ones that are up on the board. A lot of stuff has been bumped. I hate that, but it happens, right? A lot of stuff's been bumped. What about D'Angelo Russell here? He's at 18.5 points. The optimizer is suggesting we take the under on D'Angelo Russell's points at 18.5, 52.7% chance that he stays under 19 points tonight, going up against his former team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? D'Angelo Russell, maybe the under is the move. Let's go take a look at some projections here. Now that we know that it is a plus EV play. Wow. Here's a eye opener, a really big projection for an under 14.3 projected points, my friends, on a line of 18.5 points. That's more than 4 points lower than his line on PrizePicks at 18.5. That's pretty huge. So that's a great first projection on what is a plus EV play. D'Angelo Russell under 18.5 points. What do we think about that one? That's a pretty significant number. Let's go look at some other projections real quick, just to make sure that's not just some fluke, right? I like to look at a couple different models. Here's another one. 18.5 is the line. 16.7 is the projected point total. So that's almost 2 points lower than his line at 18.5. So far we got 2 models that have him going well under 18.5 points. So it's kind of hard not to like that, right? Let's just check a third model. I just want to, be thorough here with you guys. Make sure that we're checking a couple different sources. 17.5 points on a line of 18.5. So once again, 3 out of 3 models all have D'Angelo Russell going for under 18.5 points tonight. I got to add him to our entry, my friends, because it's just looking too good. It's looking too sweet. What do you guys think about this, though? Is D'Angelo Russell going to stay under 18.5 points like the math and the odds on the sports books would suggest? Like the 3 different projection models would suggest? I mean, it's plus EV. It's projecting favorably. Guys, I got to take it. I got to take the under. So there you go. There's 3 solid picks so far. Jimmy Butler over his taco at 23.5. You could take the under on Jimmy Butler at 27.5 points, his original point line. We got Vucevic, who plays tomorrow at 7:10 p.m. against the Raptors at more than 2.5 assists. And we got D'Angelo Russell for less than 18.5 points. Feel pretty good about these. Now, if you wanted to only take picks from today, maybe you leave Vucevic out and you just take the taco with D'Angelo Russell. You could do that as a little 2-pick power play for 3 times your money. All right. What else do we have? Let's go back to the optimizer. Maybe there's some other picks that are standing out. So we left off with D'Angelo Russell under his 18.5 point line. Let's see if there's anything else that's standing out to us. Scotty Barnes, more than 4.5 assists, 52.7% chance, according to the optimizer, for Scotty Barnes to record at least 5 dimes. Again, they're playing the Chicago Bulls tomorrow. So this is another one of those tomorrow type of plays. We're getting into some of the plays that are that are not for tonight, but maybe tomorrow. But sometimes you got to get in on the value early, right? So this could be another one of those options like Vucevic, where you got to get in before the line gets bumped. So let's look at some Scotty Barnes assist projections real quick. Going back to the assist category, we're going to pull up several projections here on Scotty Barnes if we have them. Now, some of these projections aren't loaded yet because the game is tomorrow, not tonight. So I may only have one projection here. Here's 4.5 and a projection of 4.51. Slightly more. Slightly projected for more than 4.5. So that one's going to be a little bit more of a wild card. I might wait until tomorrow until we get more projections. I can hold off on that Scotty Barnes play though. I'm not that desperate where I'm gonna go and put that in right away. Anything else? I don't know. Nothing else really jumping out. Let's go to your questions here. We'll let the optimizer chill for a minute, and then we'll get back to it and check in on some of these other plus EV plays. But 81% of you saying the Miami Heat are going to beat the Atlanta Hawks tonight. All right. Like I said, I kind of agree. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll though. Shout out to all you Miami Heat fans and Miami Heat backers out there. Let's take a look at some of your picks, your suggestions, your questions. Like I said, I'm here to help you guys. If you want your question featured on today's channel, on today's show rather, feel free to use the super chat function. I'm not going to be able to get to everyone's question. There's just one of me. There's how many of you? 136 of you. So I'm not going to be able to tackle everyone's question. But if there's something that's hard-hitting, pressing, urgent that you want me to answer, guys, feel free to use that super chat function for as little as $1.99. You can help support the channels, help support the show, and go one-on-one with the great one. You can get some one-on-one hands-on support right here live on the YouTube show. So appreciate everybody watching. Again, we're only at 46 likes with 139 of you watching. I don't math so well, but that doesn't seem to add up. Run those likes up for your boy. Let's get it up to 75 by the end of the show. Shoot, if we're feeling ambitious, maybe 100. Can we get it up to 100? Let me know. Let me know. By the way, I already did drop an MLB video earlier. So if you guys are looking for some more picks to put with your tacos, I dropped 6 MLB picks off in today's video. So go check that out after today's show is over if you're looking for even more PrizePicks plays. Let's see here. Going through some of your questions. Ripo's bringing up Anthony Davis fantasy score. He says he's at 49.5 fantasy points on PrizePicks, 52.5 on Underdog, but projected for 52 fantasy. All right, so we don't talk a ton about fantasy score here on the channel, but according to our guy Ripo here, we may have ourselves something with Anthony Davis and his fantasy score. So let's go back over to PrizePicks real quick. We're still looking to maybe get 3 more picks in here, at least 2. I want at least a 5 pick by the time the show ends. Maybe we push it up to 6. I'm just saying. Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. You guys let me know. I'm always down to do whatever you guys want to do. If you want to push it to 6 and go for 25 times your money, hey, I'm all for gambling and living dangerously, my friends. So let's go AD fantasy score real quick. It was mentioned by Ripo. Ripo said that Anthony Davis at 49.5 fantasy score. He's hit the over in 4 out of his last 5 games, according to the last 5 game logs provided to us by PrizePicks. So that's good, right? 4 out of 5, 80% hit rate. But if you want to, dig into more game logs, go beyond the last 5. That's where StatMuse can really help you out. StatMuse is a completely free site for you guys to check out. So you type in Anthony Davis FanDuel points logs this season, and then you can kind of get an idea how often beyond the last 5 games that Anthony Davis has gone over 49.5 fantasy points. So just like PrizePicks showed us, he's gone over in 1, 2, 3, 4 out of his last 5, right? 4 out of his last 5. We go back even further than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 out of the last 5 there. So overall, he's like 7 of his last 10 going over 49.5 fantasy score, which is a 70% hit rate in his last 10 games. That's not too shabby. That's not terrible. We like picks. We like projections. We like props that are hitting at a 70% hit rate. Don't you? Don't we? I think we do. So this could be a good look. Now, luckily for you, I do have the ability to check 3 different projection models. And if you're going to use projection models, guys, make sure that you're using FanDuel projections on your favorite optimizer or fantasy projection site, okay? Use FanDuel scoring exactly like PrizePicks scoring, which is also exactly like Yahoo's fantasy scoring, all right? So you kind of get the idea now. On Anthony Davis, 7 out of his last 10. Let's go pull some projections up for AD. Let's see if the brow is in for a good night tonight, or maybe he craps the bed. Let's go take a look. 52.2 projected fantasy score on a line of 49.5 on PrizePicks. That is a very favorable projection, especially if you're considering the over on Anthony Davis. So that's a good first one. Let's take a look at RotoWire here. Anthony, gotta spell it right. You gotta spell it right, or else you'll never find it. Anthony Davis's fantasy score, 49.5 is the line, 49.96. That's almost 50. 49.6 or more, and we're in good shape. That's what's kind of cool about fantasy scores. You don't have to get 50 fantasy points. You could get 49.6 fantasy, and he could still hit the over. So he is projected for 49.96. That's more than 49.5. So we're 2 for 2 so far. Let's go ahead and put a bow on this one by checking a third and final projection. And for that, we're going to go over to Fantasy Labs. We're going to make sure we have the FanDuel projections loaded up here. And then I've got Anthony Davis projected for 51.5 fantasy score on a line of 49.5 here on PrizePicks. So yes, for those of you considering AD, Anthony Davis, the over on his fantasy score at 49.5 seems to be the way to go here. Just taking a look, you can take your research a little bit further here by looking at something like DVP. That stands for defense versus position. This is a totally free DVP chart provided by Fantasy Pros. You guys can go check this out. But you could go to the center position, for example, looking at the last 7 games, and go find the Minnesota Timberwolves, guys, and you can see that they're giving up over 57.6 fantasy points per game to opposing centers over their last 7 games. Last 7 games, 57.6 fantasy score per game. There's only 5 teams. 5 teams giving up more fantasy points per game in the last 7 than the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right? So, I mean, as far as matchup goes, the T-Wolves have been giving it up. Gobert's not really slowing people down. We're not really worried about him, I guess. Karl Anthony Towns being back isn't really stopping or slowing anybody down. So, I mean, AD looks like he's in a pretty good spot tonight based on the fact that they're giving up the 6th most fantasy points per game to centers in the last 7 games. I mean, we could even look at the last 15 games for a larger sample size just to look at a larger sample. They're still giving up over 53 fantasy points per game over their last 15 games. So, the more recent sample size, though, you could see, man, 57.6. So AD could have himself a good night tonight. I'll go ahead and add him in here. So we got 4 picks so far. Jimmy Butler's taco. Vucevic over 2.5 assists. D'Angelo Russell under or less than 18.5 points, and AD for more than 49.5 fantasy score. Is there any of these that you guys are not feeling? Let me know in the chat. Like I said, I like to sort of take the temperature of the room here, see which ones you're liking, which ones you're not. We're going to build out a 5-pick, at least 5, maybe even a 6-pick. You guys let me know what you want to do, though. We got a super chat that came through. I thought we did. Where'd that super chat go? There it is. Everyday Fantasy saying, what about OG Anunoby for more than or over 3 personal fouls? Guys, I don't know if you caught wind of this or not. If you went to the NBA board and started poking around, you'll see that they added some new categories for the playoffs, such as dunks. They've never had dunks before. Dunks is new. What do we think about dunks? And it's kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy, right? How would we even begin to research something like dunks per game, or how many dunks these guys average? If you have a site, if you know of a site that can do that, let me know. Let everybody else know in the live chat. They also have field goals attempted. That's a new market, a new category that they've never had before. They have personal fouls, which is the one that our guy Everyday Fantasy's talking about. He's saying, look at OG Anunoby's personal fouls at 3. He's considering taking the over. Now, I have a projection for a lot of different things. Normally, I can pull up a projection for just about anything, but I don't know if I got projections for something like personal fouls. Let's see if we can find one, maybe somehow, some way. Let's see. Let's go. I don't know if I'm gonna have one. Anunoby personal fouls? No, they don't even have one. They don't even have a personal foul option on any of these sites. But according to our guy here, Everyday Fantasy, says that OG Anunoby commits at least 3 or more fouls per game. 3.3 on a line of 3. So I guess his suggestion is take the over going up against the Chicago Bulls. I mean, does Props.Cash even have personal fouls? I mean, they've got everything typically, but personal fouls, this just seems like the most degenerate category. This and the dunks and the field goal attempts, it's like, gee whiz, man. Let me see something here. I know they have some personal foul information here. Let's go down here. Free throw tip. There we go. Here you go, guys. Here's where Props.Cash can really help you guys out. OG Anunoby's fouls per game for the season, 3 fouls per game. The last 10 games, he's committed 2.7 personal fouls. The last 5 games, 2.6 personal fouls. But against the Bulls, 4 personal fouls. He has played the Chicago Bulls guys a total of 3 times. He's had 3, 4, and 5 personal fouls against the Bulls in those games. So he is technically 3 for 3 when playing against the Chicago Bulls this season in the personal fouls category. So Everyday Fantasy, although I cannot provide you a projection, I can say that he's got a pretty high hit rate when it comes to 3 or more fouls versus the Chicago Bulls. 3 or more in every one of his games. Brian Williams saying that OG Anunoby was at 2.5 personal fouls. Guys, we're at 69 likes. Can we get it up? Can we get it up higher? 69. All right. Anyway, that's what you have to look forward to there for OG Anunoby. If you're considering taking the personal fouls, you can. He's hit 3 or more in every single game against the Bulls so far this season. So kind of an interesting player prop category. Are we liking this one, chat? Let me know. Those of you who are watching. Are we liking it or not? Let me know. All right. I'm going to leave it in there for now. So we got 5 picks. We got Butler's taco. We got Vucevic over 2.5 assists. D'Lo under 18.5 points. Anthony Davis over 49.5 fantasy score. And OG Anunoby for more than 3 personal fouls. Music Moth ENT says, hit that like button. It doesn't cost nothing. My likes don't cost a thing. Shout out to J-Lo. All right, what else we got here? You guys are saying StatMuse gives you the ability to look at stuff like what? Dunks or personal fouls or what? Let me see something here. Jimmy Butler. Dunks per game this season? Oh, no. Shoot. Nope. Doesn't look like they can answer any questions about dunks. You could go Jimmy Butler fouls per game this season. There you go. We got some information on some fouls. So those of you who are wanting to do a little bit of player foul prop research, StatMuse got you covered. You could also use props.cash. Both of those, but no information on dunks. I'm looking for a way to research some dunks. Maybe NBA.com. They have a pretty advanced stat category. Like, you know what? Shoot, while we're talking about it. NBA dunks per game. Let's see. Player putbacks. This could be interesting. You could go play type, putbacks. I don't see anything for dunks in here. Put back, not necessarily a dunk. I mean, it could be, just a layup put back, a tip put back. So, I mean, maybe you dig around on some NBA advanced stats and you find what you're looking for there, but it doesn't look like I'm seeing much in terms of like dunks per game or anything like that. They got some crazy stats on here. If you've never looked at NBA.com's advanced stats categories, you could go down a rabbit hole pretty quick. What else do we have here? Dunksandthrees.com. Okay, maybe this has something. What is this? 82 stats on dunks in the NBA. Dunks in the NBA over time. Player. Okay, this could get kind of crazy. I don't know if that's like a per game for this season, but man, there's a site for everything out there these days, my friends. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to help us out with anything. But you guys let me know if you find anything dunk related and you can share it. I mean, let us know. Here's team stats, dunks and threes, pro basketball analysis. They want a subscription on some of this here, but I don't know if this is going to actually give us dunks or if this is just the name of their site. It might just be the name of their site. But if you guys have any good sites, please recommend them in the chat for doing dunks. Yeah, Michael, I'm still doing the free 2-pick giveaway. I don't think you won today, though, my friend. It was Wesley Ashby was our winner. 2-pick power play to win $100. Remember, you got to be a subscriber. You got to hit the like button. And when I end today's show, go to the comment section, comment your favorite pick, prop, or player of the day to get your hands on one of those risk-free 2-pick power plays on PrizePicks. Somebody's asking about Jimmy Butler's 3-point makes. Do we like Jimmy Butler to knock down at least 1 3 tonight? Well, I think I got some projections on that might be able to help us answer that question. Here's one. 0.6 projected 3-point makes. Let's get another one for you. 0.89. That's closer to 1. 0.89. Jimmy Butler's kind of like a DeMar DeRozan, right? More of a slasher, mid-range, not really going to take or make very many 3-pointers. So if you want to get wild, if you want to get crazy, maybe you play some Jimmy Butler 3-point make props. Here's another projection, a third one, 0.6. So all of them have him going slightly over 0.5 3-point makes, but for me, I'm probably not going to go there. I'm just going to stay away. But if you want to get weird tonight, by all means, get weird with Jimmy Butler and his 3-point makes. Let's see. What else are you guys looking at? Trae Young's turnovers. I might have some information on Trae Young's turnovers. Let's first and foremost see if this is going to be a plus EV play. Trae Young, we want to know if his turnovers is a plus EV play. So again, we're going to go to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. His turnovers are sitting at 4.5. And guys, really, this looks like a coin flip type of play. In other words, 50.1% chance that he goes under 4.5 turnovers, but a 49.8% chance that he goes over 4.5 turnovers. So really, it's almost a 50-50 in this case. So there's probably better options for you tonight other than this particular prop. But hey, while we're talking about it, let's pull up some projections here. Trae Young's turnovers, 4.5 is the projection. I'm sorry, 4.5 is the line. The projection is 4.2. Okay. So there's one projection for you, slightly under 4.5. Here's another projection, 4.1 turnovers. So both projections slightly less than 4.5, but it's close. So I would probably stay away from it. But historically speaking, guys, if you know anything about Atlanta versus Miami for this season and definitely into last season, you know that Trae Young has historically struggled quite a bit against the Miami Heat, right? So let's go take a look at the turnovers here. He's posted 3, 10, 5, and 3 turnovers in 4 meetings against the Heat. So he's 2 for 4 this season. If you want to go back to last season, this was obviously pre DeJounte Murray, but 8 out of his last 13 times that he's played the Miami Heat, he has turned the ball over at least 5 times. 62% hit rate. Now we could take this a step further. We could look at the games that he's played Miami in Miami, and on the road here, he's 5 for 7 against the Miami Heat, dating back to last season, 71%. So maybe that's something. Maybe it's nothing. He's 1 for 2 this season, though, against the Miami Heat playing in Miami on the road. So for those of you who want to take the over on Trae Young's turnovers at 4.5, just know it's not the most optimal. It's not the most positive expected value play on the board. And it's not projecting great either. But hopefully that gives you a little bit more information. Hopefully that helps you out on that pick. Role player. Jeez, buddy. You all right, man? I think something happened to role player. He hurt himself. I don't know. He was really liking, I guess, DeAndre Hunter points was one of the plays that he mentioned. Let's go take a look at it. Because my guy was really liking some DeAndre Hunter, it looked like. Spamming the chat so much. I guess he's putting the mortgage payment on DeAndre Hunter tonight to score some points from what it looked like. His points are 14.5. I'm guessing he's talking about DeAndre Hunter. 14.5 points. This is not, again, the most plus EV play ever. It's a 50.1% chance for DeAndre Hunter to score more than 14.5 points. 49.8% chance that he goes under 14.5 points. Again, it's almost essentially a coin flip. Now, if you're into playing 50-50 props, you're not going to be profitable over the long haul, right? We're looking for those plus EV plays where there's like a 2, 3, 4, 5 or greater percent edge or advantage in our favor. And this is not one of those plays, technically speaking. But because you mentioned it, I'm going to look at it for you. And he's projected for 14 points on a line of 14.5. So that's an under, right? What about these other ones? These other sites. They got him projected for 13.7 points. So that's an under at 14.5. And then 13.3 points. That's also an under at 14.5. So I don't know if you want to like go over or under, but in this case, it looks like the under would be the way to go. It's about a 50-50 shot, though, that he goes for, 14 or maybe 15 points, according to the odds. Okay. What else we got here? Taurean Prince, under rebounds. Taurean Prince. Boy, we're getting into the weeds now. You know it's playoff season when we're talking about guys like Taurean Prince. Let's go take a look at Taurean Prince. We got the Prince versus the King tonight. How about that? Taurean Prince is at 4 rebounds. 52.4% chance that he goes under 4 rebounds, according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Again, guys, if you want to get your hands on this, great time to do so. Entering NBA postseason play, NHL postseason play. We got MLB regular season underway. It's all down in the description of today's video. Go click the link, use my code, save yourself some money when you use code Curry. But yeah, I mean, Taurean Prince under 4 rebounds looks like an optimal play. Again, about a 52.4% chance that he stays at 4 rebounds or less tonight. So let's look at some projection for Taurean Prince. He's another guy who a lot of you folks seem to be backing. Here's what I'll tell you. On the sports books at 4.5 rebounds, big betting favorite to go under at 4.5, but also a big betting favorite to go over at 3.5. So it's looking like it's really setting up for a push or a tie where he lands on exactly 4 rebounds. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Based on the odds on the sports books, this is really setting up for a push type of situation. So let's look at another projection here on his boards. 4 rebounds, but projected for 5.8. So the optimizer is suggesting we should be taking the under. The projections here have him at 5.8. That's more than 4. So we're seeing some mixed messages, some mixed signals here on Taurean Prince. And then as far as his rebounds go here on Number Fire, they got him at 3.7. So that's definitely less than 4. So it's just too all over the place for me to feel great about it at 4 rebounds. Maybe it ties, maybe it pushes, but I'm thinking we could probably do better. I'm going to stay away from that one. Y'all let me know what you're thinking now that you got a little bit more information about it. The Old Man Nasty wants to know, how you doing, CJ? Well, listen, after reading your name, the Old Man Nasty, I'm doing a lot better, buddy. Love the name. Appreciate you asking. I'm doing good. Mike Conley's assists are being mentioned. We got LeBron James assists being mentioned here. Terry Finesse Anderson says he's not touching Hunter. Too risky. Maybe going with the rebounds. Let's look at Mike Conley. Let's look at LeBron James. Both guys taking the floor tonight, playing against each other. LA versus Minnesota. In case y'all didn't know, that's the matchup. Let's refresh the optimizer. Guys, you want to get very familiar with the refresh button if you're using the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. You want to make sure that you are pumping in the latest and greatest lines and information and odds and data. And in this case, LeBron James, will start with him at 7 dimes. The optimizer giving this about a 52% chance that he goes for 7 or less tonight. Okay, it looks like he's at 6.5 on the books, but 7 on PrizePicks. So it's being recommended to us based on the math and the odds that we go under on LeBron James tonight. Let's go take a look at some projections on King James. Optimizer says under, so we're looking for some projections that go along with that. And in this first projection, we're seeing 5.3 assists on a line of 7. That is a good first projection. Plus EV play to go under at 7 dimes. A projection of 5.3. That's 1.7 assists lower than his line at 7. So far, so good on LeBron James. Let's look at some other ones. Projected for 6.2 on a line of 7. Again, the under looking like the optimal way to go here based on a couple of projections that we were able to pull. Let's get you another one. 6.5 dimes on a line of 7. So there's 3 projections. All 3 of them have him going for under or less than 7 assists. So that's good enough for me. I don't need to see anything more than that. I think that's a fine play. We'll go under LeBron's assist at 7. So here's what we got so far. Just to recap, for those of you who are just now getting here, we're going to take the over on Jimmy Butler's taco. But we do so understanding that it is not meant to be a free square. He's hit 23.5, the over on 23.5 points at just a 50% hit rate. Okay. Just a 50% hit rate on Jimmy Butler at 23.5 points. Not a free square. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. You could play the under at 27.5 points on Jimmy Butler. Vucevic does not play tonight. Plays tomorrow against the Raptors. Plus EV play projecting well on one site for Vooch at 3 or more dimes. So there's another play for you. D'Angelo Russell was projecting for quite a bit fewer points than 18.5 on 3 different models. And it is a plus EV option for us to take the under at 18.5 points. AD's projected pretty well across the board on 3 different fantasy score sites here for more than 49.5 fantasy points going up against Minnesota. Minnesota giving up the 6th most fantasy points per game to opposing centers. over the last 7 games that they've played. And then you got Anunoby, who's committed 3 personal fouls or more against the Chicago Bulls in each game that he's played against them this season. 3 for 3 at 3 or better. And then you got LeBron James plus EV to take the under at 7, projecting for less than 7 on 3 different models. So there's some options for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options for you. Okay. Any of those that you're not liking, feel free to leave them alone. You can leave them off if you want. You could go and combine some of these picks with some of my baseball picks. I released 6 different MLB options for you in today's MLB video. Go check that out after you're done watching this. Maybe you can combine them up. Britton saying, I can't go under on the king. All right. Leave him off. Leave him off. The other one that you guys asked about was Mike Conley Jr. and his assists. Those are sitting at 5. I mean, almost every single projection on the PrizePicks board at this point has either been bumped up or bumped down. So we got Michael Conley Jr. at 5. Let's take a look at that one real quick on the optimizer. We want to know if the over or the under is the best way to go here on Michael Conley Jr. We got him at 5 assists. The optimizer suggesting we take over 5 assists. 52% chance that he has at least 5 or more dimes today. 52% chance at 5 or better. So that's looking pretty sweet. Let's go pull some projections for this young man. 4.8 dimes. That's close to 5. We wish that number was like 5.8. We'd feel a little bit more comfortable with it, right? But in this case, close to 5, not over 5, but close to 5. What about RotoWire? They've got him at 5 assists. 5.7 is the projection. 5 assists is the line. 5.7 is the projection. So that's better, especially if we're considering the over, right? And then last but not least, a third and final projection. Number Fire's got him up at 7.1 assists tonight. Whew. All right. So you kind of have a range of 4.8 being the low, 7.1 assists being the high, and then you had a projection right there in the middle at just over 5 assists. What are you guys thinking? Take the over or under on Mike Conley? Are you guys fading it? Trey Prince saying, go under on the taco? No, we're not going under on the taco, but we can go under on the 27.5 point line for Jimmy Butler. If you guys aren't liking Jimmy Butler at 27.5 points, or if you have your doubts, because I mean, the guy's only hit 28 or more points in 22% of the games that he's played in, I believe it was this season. You could take the under at 27.5. But I'm probably not taking the under at 23.5. If you don't think it would be better for you to take the under at 27.5, don't take the under on the taco at 23.5. There's just no point. Not Migs is saying Jimmy Buckets is hitting a 40 piece tonight. Whew. Is that a 40 piece spicy or original? Let me know. Corey says, how do we get this optimizer? Mr. Corey, thanks for asking. If you want to sign up for the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer and save yourself a few dollars, go down to the description of this video, Corey. Click the link. Use the code CURRY. That's me. CURRY when you check out. And you'll save a few bucks on this optimizer. I would recommend taking it for a spin for at least a month. And the reason I say that is because plus EV betting isn't a get quick rich scheme, okay? Get rich quick scheme. Did I say that right? It's not a get rich quick scheme. I think I got it right that time. Plus EV betting is something that over the long haul, when you see these 3, these 4, these 5% edges, over the long run, a month, 6 months, a year, the idea is that finding these edges, you're going to be profitable over a long period of time. So I'd give it at least a month. A week, I see some of you guys sign up and you're doing it for just a week. A week is just not long enough. Not long enough. But I can tell you this, I've had a lot of success doing 2 simple steps. A, finding plus EV plays using this tool. You can do this on your own manually, but it's going to be hard. It's going to take way longer than this will. Finding plus EV plays is step 1, and then just checking like 2 or 3 projection models and see if they line up I've had tremendous success doing that. So that's what I would recommend. If you decide to get the optimizer, check out some like free projections. Maybe you go to like Numberfire, they're free. Props.cash, if you're a Props.cash user, they've got projections built into their app now. Fantasy Labs is good. It's expensive. That's what this one is. Fantasy Labs is good, but expensive. So if you got the money to shell out for Fantasy Labs, I recommend it. RotoWire is pretty cool too. They have some projections as well. So that's what I would recommend. Kind of your 1-2 punch. The optimizer plus some good projection sites equals better results. So check it out, Mr. Copeland. Let's see here. Jerome Wright asking about LeBron James and his 3.5 turnovers. He's wanting to go under on LeBron James, 3.5 turnovers. Well, first and foremost, again, we're going to go check and see if this play is optimal or not. Rather than go with our guts, why not go with the math, the odds behind these sports books lines, right? We got LeBron James at 3.5 turnovers. It looks like the optimal way to go here would be taking the under, 51.5% chance that he stays under 3.5 turnovers. Again, is that the most plus EV play on the board? No, it's not. At a 1.5% edge or advantage in our favor based on the math that goes into these sportsbook lines, no, that's not the most optimal play. In fact, the most optimal play on the board right now would be Kevin Love for under 5 rebounds at a 54.2% chance to hit. Okay, so there you go. You see the difference. But is it a plus EV play? Technically speaking, yes. LeBron under 3.5 turnovers should be a plus EV play. Projection wise, I got him at 3.2 turnovers on his line of 3.5. We could also take a look at a site like Numberfire here. Numberfire's got LeBron at 3.1 projected turnovers. So plus EV to go under at 3.5 turnovers, and he's projected for under 3.5 turnovers. Corey, appreciate you subscribing. Thank you so much. Welcome to the fam, my friend. Welcome aboard. Let's see. Any other questions here? Ryan's asking, can you verify that Jimmy Butler hit at least 1 3 in 14 out of 17 playoff games last year? Can I verify that? Maybe through StatMuse. I can verify that. Let's look at it real quick. Jimmy Butler 3-point makes 3 p.m. Playoffs logs. Let's try that. All right. Here's what we got. You said in how many? 14 out of his last 17. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right, there's the last 17. He's hit at least 1 3 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 out of 17. There you go. He has hit at least 1 3 in 14 of his last 17 playoff games. Indeed. He has. Against the Hawks, let's see. He played 1, 2, 3, 4 games against the Hawks. He knocked down at least 1 3 in every game against the Hawks in their playoff series from last season. So he was 4 for 4 against Atlanta. He even had one game where he dropped 4 triples on Atlanta in those 4 playoff matchups from last season. So yes, I can verify. It does check out. In the words of Kurt Angle, oh, it's true. It's damn true. So there you go. There's some information on Jimmy Butler for you. Yes, he has knocked down quite a few threes. All right, so back to our picks here. Butler, Vooch, Russell, AD, Anunoby, and LeBron James. And you can put up to $25 on these tacos. I think for me, I want to make this a just a 2-pick play. I'm going to try to, I don't know, I guess play it safe. Some of these picks too can tie or push. So I'm going to leave LeBron out, leave OG out. I'm going to just go with a 2-pick. A 2-pick for tonight. I'm going to take Jimmy Butler's taco. I'm going to put it with D'Angelo Russell under on points. I'm going to put $25 on it. Again, you guys can do whatever you want to do. Play them however you want to play them. It's your taco. It's your money. Spend wisely. Do with it what you will, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a 2-pick here. Butler over 23.5 points. D'Angelo Russell under 18.5 points. I like the way both of those were looking. Those were both looking like solids. So I'm going to go with that. I'll take like a couple more questions. We're right about that 1 hour runtime. We try to keep these fairly, condensed for you guys. Don't want to keep you any longer than we have to, but it looks like Andrew's asking about, do you think you could check for Clint Capella's points? For sure. And we could also look at Austin Reeves. I keep seeing his name come up as well. So let's look at both of those. And we'll kind of start to wind things down here. But let's start with Clint Capella. You're asking about his points. His points today are at 9.5. The optimizer suggests taking the under at 9.5 points, but it's just a 50.2% chance to hit. So again, it's almost a coin flip. Almost another one of those coin flip scenarios on Clint Capella and his points today. So for me, it's probably not going to be a play that I take. I'm looking for something that's got a little bit more meat on the bone. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big boy. I like a little meat on the bone. But he is projected for 10.3 points on one site. Let's look at some of these other sites. 12.3 on a line of 9.5. So those are two pretty nice overs. And let's go for a third one here. Exactly 9.5 points. So you got anywhere from 9.5 being the low to a projection of 12.3 points being the high on Clint Capella. But when it comes to the odds, it's more of a coin flip. Okay. What else? What was the other one? Austin Reeves for his assists. Are we taking the over or under on that, Keelan? What are you thinking? Let me know. Over or under on Austin Reeves and his assists? You didn't really specify the way that you wanted to go on that, so that's why I'm asking. Let's look at it, though. Austin Reeves' assists are sitting at 4 today on PrizePicks. The optimizer saying, hey, you got about a 52% chance that Austin Reeves gets you at least 4 dimes, possibly even more. 52% at 4 or better. Okay, let's pull some projections up. Austin Reeves projected for 4.6 assists. You see he's like a minus 165, minus 185 betting favorite at 3.5 dimes. So PrizePicks bumped him up to 4. But you're also seeing on the other side of that, minus 156, minus 160, minus 162 betting favorites to stay under 4.5. So PrizePicks kind of split the difference here because it does look like it's setting up for one of those tie or push type of plays where he could land on exactly 4 dimes. Going over here, taking a look at another projection, 3.2 assists on a line of 4. That's not great if you're thinking about taking the over. And then, not Austin Reeves, 3.2. So 2 out of the 3 projection models that I trust, know, and love have him projected for less than 4 assists. One site had him projected for just a little over 4, and that was Fantasy Labs at 4.6. So probably look for a different play for me. Peyton says, I started PrizePicks in November, and I have learned so much today. Peyton, thank you. That's what I'm here to do, man. I'm trying to enlighten people. I'm trying to put people on those winning picks. Put them on the winners. Take them off the losers. All right, last question from Roy. Can you check DeJounte Murray over assists, please? Yes, sir, I can, Roy. Just for you, my friend. Let's do it. DeJounte Murray taking on the Miami Heat tonight. His assist line is sitting at 5 on PrizePicks, which is going to be 5.5 if you're playing on a sports book like I believe Roy does. Now, at 5 assists, it looks like the optimizer is suggesting even at 5 dimes we should take the under, but it's just a 50.2% chance that he stays under 5 assists. So it's not like it's a super optimal play, but looks optimal nonetheless. If you're getting him at 5.5, then you should definitely be taking the under at 5.5, according to the optimizer. So let's go look at some projections on DeJounte Murray real quick. Here's a projection of 6.3 dimes on a line of 5.5. Big betting favorite to stay under 5.5, despite this favorable projection of the over here at 6.3. You're even seeing him at 4.5 on some sites where he's a betting favorite to go under or over rather at 4.5. So big betting favorite under 5.5, but big betting favorite over 4.5, which, you know, kind of sets up for like the Austin Reeves prop where he might land on exactly 5 tonight. Let's get you some other projections here. Here's a projection of 6 dimes on a line of 5. So they like him to go over. 2 different models have him going over 5 assists. And then last, but certainly not least, a projection of 5.9 assists on a line of 5. Guys, we're 7 likes away from 100 likes. Get me there. Get me there. Get me there. 7 likes away from 100 likes. Let's do it. We got a super chat. All right. For real, for real. Last one. Everyday Fantasy super chat. He's like a Dennis Schroeder for 7.5 points. He wants to take the over on Dennis Schroeder at 7.5. Well, you know, Mr. Don P, Mr. Everyday Fantasy, the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go see if this is a plus EV play. Before I even comment on whether or not we should be taking the over or under, I got to go look and see if the odds, if the math is in our favor. And in this case, it is. Dennis Schroeder sitting at 7.5 points. 51.3% chance that he has 8 or more points, according to the optimizer here. Okay. So it is plus EV to answer the first question, the most important question. Yes, it is plus EV. So let's go pull some projections up on Dennis Schroeder. Here's a whopping projection of 11.7 points, guys. Line is 7.5, projection 11.7. That's huge. So that's a great first projection for Dennis Schroeder. Let's go look at some of these other ones here. 7.5 is the line, 6.4 is the projection. Ouch. So now we just went in the opposite direction. So we've got a low of 6.4, a high of 11.7 points. 2 different projection models, 2 different sites, vastly different projected outcomes for Dennis Schroeder. So we got to have a tiebreaker, right? We got to send this to a third and final round. And so we call on Number Fire to help us with that. Dennis Schroeder's projected points on Number Fire, 9.9, which is, let's call it 10. 10 points on a projected line of, what did we say, 7.5. So you got 2 models saying take the over on Schroeder at about 10 or more points. 1 model thinks he's going to stay under 7 points. So if you average all of those together, it's probably an overplay. It's probably going to average out to more than 7.5 points. So final answer would be, based on what we're seeing here, take the over on Dennis Schroeder's points at 7.5. I think that is a fine look on a 2-game NBA slate, Mr. Everyday Fantasy. Guys, if you're looking for more picks, I got them for you. Go check out my MLB video from this morning. 6 picks dropped on your heads for some Major League Baseball. You could take some of those picks, mix them with tacos. You could take some of those picks, mix them with NBA. Do what you want to do. Get weird, get wild. It's Taco Tuesday. Do whatever you want to do with your money and your picks, all right? And then, of course, if you're a Patreon member, guys, I'm going to be dropping more picks in Patreon. We're looking to bounce back after a rough night of MLB, but we've got NBA and more baseball tonight for us to look forward to. So be expecting those cheat sheets to be dropped for basketball, for baseball, and expect more picks from yours truly inside Discord. Appreciate everybody joining me. Everything I got, everything we talked about, down in the description. Check the links below, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Good luck tonight. Peace.